I'm like, oh, discombobulated here.
So
I'm like Shakespeare. I just made up a word. Discombobulated. It means your pillow's out of order.
Sweetie.
Yes.
I've never thought your pillow was out of order.
Hun.
Yes.
The bed vlogs are rated PG.
Mr. Geriatric, is doing a video to some song called My Generation or something, which is...
But since his name is Mr. Geriatric, that's kind of implying that he's an old guy.
Tell me a little bit about the music about your generation. What were your favorite bands?
Motown.
Never heard of them.
That's not a band! The Beatles.
Never heard of them. Tell me about some of the other bands.
Well, if you mean the Who, I was
never heard of them. Who?
I was scared of them when I was little because they were like throwing guitars around and all that kind of stuff.
Who are you talking about?
Who's on first?
Third base.
You're way too young for that one.
Way too young for what?
Abbott and Costello.
Never heard of them. Or they like punk?
Simon and Garfunkel.
Never heard of them. Sweetie?
Yes.
And you asked me who my favorite band was growing up?
Who was your favorite band growing up, honey?
The real rock stars were the Brady Bunch.
Aren't you talking about the Partridge Family?
That's the obvious choice for the best
Monkees?
band
What about
of
the
the
Monkees?
70s.
I watched the Monkees on TV every Saturday. They had a TV show.
A monkey wrote a blurb for my book.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, we're the Monkees, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down.
So I know
He's
the
in my
Monkees.
poem.
It's in your
monkey.
poem. Oh, speaking of, you have a poem about
poems.
You have a poem about your generation, maybe
I have
called.
a poem about aging and memory. Yes, it is called My Generation.
All right, you want to kick a poem?
I don't kick them and I don't spit them. And what's the other word people use? I hate all that stuff. I'm too old for it. I'm too old for kicking and spitting.
Sweetie.
What?
RTFP.
Read the fucking poem.
You got a poem called My Generation for Mr. Geriatric.
Yeah, it's called My Generation.
Okay, Mr. Geriatric, this one's for you.
1960 baby, in between generation. Parents too old to be hippies, too young to be one myself. 9 months old gumming peas watching Alan Shepard blast off. Mother weeping in fear he would die. Age 3 by the tube when Oswald fired. I guess Mom cried for JFK. She never said. Memphis Republicans. These things I was too young to retain. But what about MLK, RFK, Dr. King, and Bobby? World caving in at 7 still? I can't recall. Later, I knew both Kennedys were shot, even though we never got that far in school. In college, I bowed my head at mentions of my hometown. We killed King. I spoke in shame. But those memories can't be traced back like tracks in the dirt. Just when I start tingling, I don't know where I was. Sometimes I think it's the little things children remember. Barbie campers at Christmas, turquoise daisy bell-bottoms with a white rope belt, one pair of bikini panties just for wearing with those slacks. White go-go boots in grade school, handsome Davy Jones, the real rock stars, died every week. I never forgot it, but by then I was older. This was its own great generation, talking about family dinner on TV trays in front of the Vietnam War. Keep quiet and pay attention in a funeral. In junior high, Nixon announced the end, my heart unfolding joy. We'd been fighting as long as I could tell, and that's the truth. For 1968, I cannot find the most important things. No dad afraid of riots driving to grandma's through the April night. We kids hidden on the backseat floor, just flowered bell-bottoms, patent leather boots, and a train trip to Chicago where I saw a mammoth, and blackened foot bones of a mummy child my age. For more, I have to ask for borrowed memories, stories from parents, friends 4 years older, all that TV. Like Mom, sobbing for Shepard who lived that day, and I cried for Bobby, but later, in a movie, or maybe for myself who lives this day and flails about in sorrow, sifting through stored thoughts no better than fool's gold, because we all die. Souls blasting out through the ozone by the millions, faces craning down in flight for one last look, hoping to have left tracks on this earth. Hun, that camera action was pretty funky.
Sweetie.
Everybody's gonna get kind of sick at their stomach or something.
Well, yeah, but
And I couldn't use my hands.
You couldn't what?
Use my hands.
You couldn't what? Sweetie.
Was that a
was
racy
amazing.
comment? No, that was not a racy comment. If I'm using my hands up here, that's rated G.